One text message sent to the wrong number was about to change 2 lives forever. Claire Whitmore had everything money could buy, yet nothing that truly mattered, until a maintenance man's misdirected message led her to his doorstep with a peace lily and an aching heart. Marcus Reed never expected a millionaire heiress to help him fix a burst pipe, much less fall for him despite family pressure and vicious rumors threatening to tear them apart. When Aunt Eleanor offered him money to disappear from Claire's life, no one could have predicted what would happen next. If you're watching this incredible story of love crossing boundaries, hit subscribe right now and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I bet we have viewers from every walk of life, just like our star-crossed lovers. Marcus Reed stood in his new apartment, surrounded by boxes. After 3 years of saving, he finally had a place of his own. The walls needed paint, and the kitchen was small, but it was his. All his. He smiled as he looked around. "Time to let Maya know," he said to himself, pulling out his phone. His sister needed his new address to send mail from college. Marcus typed carefully, adding a smiley face at the end. His thumb hovered over the send button. Was that last digit right? He was tired from moving boxes all day. Oh well. He pressed send and went back to unpacking. In a quiet penthouse across town, Claire Whitmore sat alone at her dining table. Another charity dinner done. Another night of fake smiles and small talk about money. She kicked off her heels and rubbed her sore feet. Her phone buzzed. A text from a number she didn't know. "All moved in. 327 Oakwood Ave, Apt 3B. Mail can come here now." Claire stared at the message. Wrong number, obviously. She should just ignore it, but something about the happy tone made her smile. Whoever sent this was excited about their new place. Maybe it was small. Maybe it wasn't fancy. But they were happy. Claire looked around her huge, empty penthouse. When was the last time she felt excited about anything? When was the last time she did something unexpected? Without thinking too much about it, she grabbed her keys and headed out. Marcus unpacked his camp stove and set it on the counter. The fridge wasn't plugged in yet, but he had eggs. He cracked 2 into a pan and watched them sizzle. The smell made his stomach growl. The apartment buzzer rang. "That's weird," he said, turning down the heat. Nobody knew he was here except Maya. He pressed the intercom button. "Hello?" "Hi?" came a woman's voice. "I got your text about moving in. I brought you something." Marcus frowned. "My text? I think you have the wrong—" "It'll just take a minute," the voice said. Marcus hesitated, then pushed the button to unlock the building door. He opened his apartment door and waited in the hallway. A minute later, a woman appeared at the top of the stairs. She had wavy blonde hair and wore jeans with a simple blue sweater. In her hands was a small potted plant with bright green leaves. Their eyes met. Both froze. "You're not my sister," Marcus said. "And you didn't mean to text me?" Claire replied, her cheeks turning pink. They stared at each other. Then, at the same time, they both started to laugh. "I'm Marcus," he said, extending his hand. "Claire," she replied, shaking it. Her hand was soft and warm in his. "So," Marcus said, "you got my text and decided to bring a plant to a total stranger?" Claire shrugged. It seemed like a nice thing to do, a housewarming gift. Marcus looked at her more carefully. Something about her seemed familiar, but he couldn't place it. She didn't look like the type who normally visited this building. "Well, since you came all this way," he said, "want to come in? You can put the plant by the window." Claire smiled. "I'd like that." Inside, Marcus moved some boxes to clear a path. "Sorry about the mess. Just moved in today." Claire placed the plant on the windowsill. "It's a peace lily. They're pretty tough to kill." "Good, because I'm not great with plants," Marcus admitted. They stood awkwardly for a moment. Marcus noticed her looking at his half-assembled bookshelf. One side was definitely higher than the other. I know, he laughed. Carpentry isn't my thing. Mine either, Claire said. My bookshelves came pre-assembled. Lucky you, Marcus said, wondering again why she seemed familiar. So what made you come here? Most people would just ignore a wrong text. Claire looked out the window. Honestly, it felt like an invitation to something normal. My life doesn't have a lot of normal in it. Before Marcus could ask what she meant, a loud hissing sound came from the kitchen, followed by a splash. Oh no, Marcus said, rushing toward the noise. Water sprayed from a pipe under the sink, already forming a puddle on the floor. Claire grabbed a dish towel from a box and handed it to him. Do you have tools? She asked, rolling up her sleeves. In that box. Marcus pointed. The one marked Tools. Claire dug through the box while Marcus tried to slow the leak with the towel. She pulled out a flashlight and a wrench. Here, she said, kneeling beside him on the wet floor. She held the flashlight steady while he worked. Marcus tightened the pipe joint. The spray reduced to a drip. Hold this, he said, handing her the wrench. Their fingers brushed. Working together, they soon had the leak under control. Water soaked the knees of their pants, but they'd stopped it from getting worse. Nice teamwork, Marcus said, sitting back on his heels. You're pretty good in a crisis. You too, Claire replied, wiping her hands on her jeans. Very calm. A knock sounded at the door, which Marcus had left open. An older man with silver hair stood in the doorway. Everything okay? I heard water. Mr. Alvarez, Marcus said. Small leak, but we've got it handled. I brought tools, Mr. Alvarez said, holding up a toolbox. He noticed Claire and raised his eyebrows at Marcus. This is Claire, Marcus explained. She brought me a plant and stayed to help with a flood. Mr. Alvarez smiled warmly. How nice. Let me see that pipe. 30 minutes later, the leak was fixed properly. Mr. Alvarez headed back to his apartment, leaving Marcus and Claire alone again. Thank you, Marcus said, for the plant and the help. I'm glad I was here, Claire said. She looked down at her wet clothes and laughed. Though I didn't expect a swimming lesson. Marcus's stomach growled loudly. Claire's eyes went to the camp stove where 2 cold, forgotten eggs sat in the pan. Hungry? She asked. Starving, he admitted. There's a diner on the corner, Claire suggested. My treat, as a real housewarming. Marcus hesitated. You don't have to do that. I want to, Claire said. Please? Something in her voice made Marcus nod. Okay, but let me grab a dry jacket first. The diner was warm and smelled like coffee and grilled cheese. They slid into a booth by the window. A waitress with a name tag reading, Betty, came over. What can I get you two? Pie, they said at the same time, then looked at each other and laughed. Apple for me, Marcus said. Blueberry, Claire added. When Betty brought their pie, they ate in comfortable silence for a while. Through the window, Marcus could see the lights of the city shining in the darkening sky. So, he said between bites, what did you mean about your life not having much normal in it? Claire poked at her pie. My family is complicated. I live alone in a big place that never feels like home. I don't sleep well. Most nights, I just wander around from room to room. Marcus nodded. I get the sleep thing. When I was saving for this place, I worked 2 jobs. Day shift maintenance, night shift driving. I'd catch naps whenever I could. Is that what you do now? Maintenance? Yeah, at the Riverside Apartments. Good benefits. Steady hours. He paused. My sister Maya is in college. First in our family. She's crazy smart, studying business. That's wonderful, Claire said. You must be proud. I am. She's working on scholarship applications for next year. The forms are a nightmare, but she's determined. Claire's phone buzzed several times in a row. She glanced at it, then silenced it with a frown. Everything okay? Marcus asked. Just my aunt, Claire sighed. She worries if I don't check in. Are you in trouble? Marcus teased. Claire smiled. Probably, but she can wait. They finished their pie and stepped outside. The night air was cool. My car's this way, Claire said, pointing down the block. Marcus walked beside her, carrying the plant she'd brought. Neither spoke, but it wasn't an uncomfortable silence. At her car, a simple gray sedan, not the fancy sports car Marcus might have expected, Claire turned to face him. Thank you, she said. For what? You brought me a plant and bought me pie? For ordinary kindness, Claire said softly. It's rare in my world. Will I see you again? Marcus found himself asking. Claire bit her lip. I'd like that. I still have your flashlight. Good excuse, Marcus smiled. I'll text you, for real this time. They said goodbye, and Marcus watched her drive away. He walked back to his apartment building, still carrying the peace lily and smiling to himself. His phone buzzed with a text from Devin, his friend and co-worker. Check this out. There was a link to a news site. Standing in the hallway, Marcus clicked the link. His smile faded as he read the headline. Millionaire Heiress seen quietly around town. And there was a photo of a woman who looked exactly like Claire, dressed in an elegant gown at some fancy event. Marcus entered his apartment and set the plant down carefully. He sat on his couch and searched online. Claire Whitmore. Hundreds of images appeared. Claire at charity galas. Claire cutting ribbons. Claire shaking hands with the mayor, the Whitmore Foundation. Whitmore Industries. The Whitmore family fortune. He stared at his phone for a long time, remembering her words. My family is complicated. That was one way to put it. Marcus thought about texting her right away, but decided to wait until morning. He needed time to think. The next morning, Marcus sent a simple message. Are you Claire Whitmore? The reply came quickly. Yes, I wanted a night without my last name. Marcus took a deep breath and typed, I'd like to see you in daylight, to talk. Claire suggested the coffee shop at the small park near his building. Noon. The park was busy with people walking dogs and pushing strollers. Claire sat at an outdoor table, wearing sunglasses and a baseball cap. 2 coffee cups sat in front of her. Marcus slid into the chair across from her. Hiding? He asked, nodding at her hat. Not exactly, Claire said, pushing the second coffee toward him. Habit, I guess. So, Marcus said, you're Claire Whitmore. Yes. She took off her sunglasses and looked at him directly. I'm sorry I didn't tell you. It's just, when people hear my name, everything changes. I can imagine, Marcus said, though he really couldn't. Last night was the first time in years someone treated me like a normal person. When that pipe burst and you handed me the wrench, you weren't thinking about my family or my money. We were just 2 people fixing a leak. Marcus stirred his coffee. Why'd you come to my apartment in the first place? The truth. Claire leaned forward. The truth? I was lonely. Your text sounded happy, and I wanted to be around that feeling for a bit. I didn't plan to stay, but then... She smiled. Then there was a flood. Marcus couldn't help but smile back. If we're going to see each other again... Are we? Claire interrupted, her eyes hopeful. I'd like to, Marcus said. But we need some ground rules. Like what? Like total honesty from now on, Marcus said. And no rescue gestures. I don't need your money or your connections. I'm doing fine on my own. Claire nodded. Agreed. Honesty and no rescuing. She extended her hand. Deal? They shook on it. Then, with nothing left to say for the moment, they sat watching people walk by. A child chased a ball across the grass. An old couple held hands on a bench. The silence between them wasn't awkward. It felt like taking a deep breath after being underwater. Claire's phone vibrated against the table. She looked at the screen and sighed. My aunt again. You should probably call her, Marcus said, before she sends out a search party. Claire smiled. I will, tonight. She reached across the table and squeezed his hand briefly before standing up. Tomorrow? Same place? Marcus nodded. I'd like that. He watched her walk away, her blonde hair shining in the sunlight. Claire Whitmore, heiress to millions, who brought plants to strangers and helped fix leaky pipes. His phone buzzed with a text from Maya. How's the new place? Marcus looked at the piece Lily Claire had brought, sitting on his windowsill. Better than expected, he typed back. I'll tell you about it soon. That evening, Claire paced her penthouse, phone in hand. The view of the city lights did nothing to calm her nerves as she finally pressed the call button. Claire Elizabeth Whitmore. Aunt Eleanor's voice was sharp. Where have you been? I've called 6 times. I'm fine, Aunt Eleanor, Claire said, sinking onto her white leather sofa. I just needed some space. Space? You disappeared after the charity dinner without telling anyone. Richard had to make excuses to the board members. Claire rolled her eyes. Richard was her aunt's assistant, always hovering, always watching. I'm 27, not 17, Claire said. I don't need permission to leave a dinner. A long sigh came through the phone. What were you doing that was so important you couldn't answer my calls? Claire hesitated. Then, deciding to follow her new honesty rule, she said, I got a wrong number text yesterday. Someone moved into a new apartment. I brought them a plant. You what? Aunt Eleanor's voice rose. You went to a stranger's home? Alone? Claire, what were you thinking? I was thinking I wanted to do something kind, something normal. Normal people don't show up at strangers' apartments, Aunt Eleanor said. And Whitmores are not normal people. We have responsibilities, image to maintain, security concerns. Claire closed her eyes. His name is Marcus. He's a maintenance technician. We had pie at a diner and talked about real things. I liked it. Silence stretched between them. Claire? Aunt Eleanor's voice softened with concern. You know how this looks? The tabloids would have a field day if they saw you with some random man from who knows where. He's not random, and I don't care what the tabloids think. You should care, Aunt Eleanor said firmly. Your grandfather built this family's reputation over decades. One scandal could damage everything we've worked for. Claire felt the familiar weight of the Whitmore name pressing down on her. Since her parents died when she was 12, Aunt Eleanor had raised her with one goal: protect the family name. I'm seeing him again tomorrow, Claire said, her voice steady. It's my choice. Another long silence. We'll discuss this when I return from New York, Aunt Eleanor finally said. Please be careful, Claire, and answer your phone. The call ended. Claire dropped her phone on the cushion beside her and stared out at the city lights. Somewhere out there was Marcus's apartment, with his crooked bookshelf and the peace lily on the windowsill. She picked up her phone again and texted him. Tomorrow? Same cafe? His reply came quickly. Yes. Claire smiled, feeling the weight lift a little. The next morning, Marcus woke early. He had the day off from work and planned to finish unpacking before meeting Claire. As he made coffee, his phone rang. It was Devin. "Hey, man," Devin's voice boomed through the speaker. "How's the new digs?" "Coming along," Marcus said. "Still unpacking. Need help? I'm off today." Marcus looked around at the boxes. "Actually, that would be great, but I have plans at noon." "Hot date?" Devin teased. Marcus hesitated. "Something like that." "Who's the lucky lady? Anyone I know?" "It's new," Marcus said, not ready to explain about Claire. "We'll see where it goes." "Mysterious," Devin laughed. "I'll be over in an hour. We'll get you sorted before your date." With Devin's help, Marcus finished unpacking most of the boxes. By 11:30, the apartment was starting to look like home. Books on shelves, clothes in drawers, kitchen items put away. "Thanks, man," Marcus said as they collapsed on the couch. "Couldn't have done it this fast alone." Devin nodded at the peace lily. "Nice plant. Gift from the mystery woman?" Marcus smiled. "Yeah, kind of a funny story." Before he could explain, his phone buzzed with a reminder. "I've got to head out soon," he said, standing up. Devin rose too. "I'll walk out with you. Got plans with Keisha later anyway." As they headed downstairs, they passed Mr. Alvarez in the hallway. Marcus stopped to check on him. "Everything okay, Mr. A? Need anything while I'm out?" The older man smiled. "I'm fine, Marcus. You're a good neighbor. Always checking on an old man." "You helped me with that leak," Marcus reminded him. "Least I can do." "You make a second cup of coffee?" Mr. Alvarez asked, noticing the 2 travel mugs in Marcus's hands. Marcus nodded. "Meeting a friend at the park. Thought I'd bring coffee." Mr. Alvarez's eyes twinkled. "The young lady from the other night? With the plant?" Devin raised his eyebrows. The plot thickens. Marcus felt his cheeks warm. "Yes, that's the one. And we're just friends." "For now," Mr. Alvarez said with a knowing smile. At the park cafe, Claire was already waiting. Today she wore jeans and a simple white top, her hair pulled back in a ponytail. No hat, no sunglasses. Her face lit up when she saw Marcus. "You brought coffee," she said as he sat down. "One for you, one for Mr. Alvarez," Marcus explained. "I'll drop his off later. He likes the dark roast from this place." Claire's smile grew warmer. "That's really thoughtful." They talked easily about small things. The weather, which was warm for spring. Books they'd both read. Movies they liked. A young mom struggled to fold a stroller while holding her baby. Without a word, Marcus and Claire both stood to help. Marcus steadied the stroller while Claire showed the mom how to press the latch. "Thank you both so much," the mom said, looking relieved. When they sat back down, Claire was looking at Marcus strangely. "What?" he asked. "Nothing," she said. "It's just nice to be around someone who notices when people need help." Clouds gathered overhead. Marcus glanced up. "Looks like rain later. Want to head back? I should return your flashlight anyway." Claire nodded. "I'd like that." As they walked toward Marcus's building, Claire asked, "What's it like, doing maintenance work?" "I like it," Marcus said. "Fixing things, helping people. Every day is different, and I'm good at it." He paused. "What about you? What do you do?" Claire hesitated. "Officially, I run the charitable foundation my grandfather started, but mostly I attend events, shake hands, and smile for photos." "Is that what you want to do?" Marcus asked. Claire looked surprised, as if no one had ever asked her that question before. "I don't know," she admitted. "I've never really thought about having a choice." In Marcus's hallway, a light flickered overhead. "Been meaning to fix that," he said, frowning at the ceiling. "Can I help?" Claire asked. Marcus raised an eyebrow. "You want to fix a hallway light?" Why not? I helped with the pipe. Marcus shrugged and went to get his toolbox. He returned with a ladder and a replacement ballast. Hold these screws, he said, handing her a small container as he climbed up. Claire watched carefully as he worked, asking questions about what each part did. When he needed a tool, she handed it up to him. It felt natural working together, as if they'd been doing it for years. When the light was fixed, Marcus climbed down. Good as new, he said, flicking the switch. The hallway filled with steady light. What else do you want to do today? He asked, folding up the ladder. Claire thought for a moment. I've never ridden a city bus. Marcus stared at her. Never? She shook her head. My aunt says they're dangerous. They're just buses. Marcus laughed. Want to try one? We could go to the farmer's market, get some flowers for Mr. Alvarez. Claire's eyes lit up. I'd like that. At the bus stop, Claire watched nervously as the big vehicle approached. Its brakes hissed as it stopped in front of them. The doors opened with a whoosh. Marcus stepped on first, then held out his hand. Coming? Claire took a deep breath and took his hand, stepping up into the bus. The doors closed behind them. They found seats together near the middle. Claire gripped the pole as the bus started moving. Okay? Marcus asked. Claire nodded, a smile spreading across her face. Better than okay. The bus wasn't crowded. An old man dozed in the front seat. A teenager with headphones bobbed his head to music. A woman with grocery bags sat near the back. See? Marcus said. Just regular people going places. Claire leaned against him slightly. Thank you for this. For what? A bus ride? For showing me parts of the world I've never seen. The farmer's market was a riot of colors and smells. Stalls filled with fresh vegetables, fruits, flowers, and homemade bread lined the street. People milled about, tasting samples and chatting with vendors. Claire moved through it all with wide-eyed wonder. She stopped at a flower stand filled with bright blooms. These are beautiful, she said, touching a pink peony gently. Mr. Alvarez's wife loved peonies, Marcus said. Before she passed, he told me once when I was fixing his radiator. Claire carefully selected 3 perfect pink peonies and paid the vendor. Do you think he'll like them? He'll love them, Marcus assured her. On the bus ride back, Claire held the flowers carefully. This has been the best morning, she said softly. Back at Marcus's building, they checked his mailbox. Inside was a stack of envelopes. That's weird, Marcus frowned, flipping through them. Some of these are for Maya. Must have gotten mixed up. His frown deepened as he spotted an envelope from Maya's college with past due stamped in red across it. He slipped it into his pocket quickly, but not before Claire noticed. Everything okay? She asked. Yeah, Marcus said. Just some of Maya's mail. I'll give it to her later. Claire nodded, not pushing. I should probably get going, she said. I have a foundation meeting this afternoon. The mysterious Whitmore Foundation, Marcus teased, trying to lighten his mood. Claire smiled. Not so mysterious. We fund scholarships, community programs, that sort of thing. Mostly I just sign papers. As they said goodbye at the building entrance, Claire hesitated. Tomorrow? She asked. Tomorrow, Marcus agreed. That evening, Marcus called his sister. Hey, big bro, Maya answered cheerfully. How's the new place? Coming along, Marcus said. Got your mail by mistake. A pause. Anything important? Marcus took a deep breath. Maya, there's a notice from the bursar's office. Says your tuition payment is past due. Silence. Maya, you there? Yeah, she said finally, her voice small. I was going to handle it. With what? Marcus asked gently. I thought your scholarship covered everything. It did, for the first year. Maya sighed. There's a gap for next year. I was trying to get a part-time job to cover it. Why didn't you tell me? You've done so much already, Maya said. I didn't want to worry you. Marcus closed his eyes. That's what I'm here for, to worry about you. I know, I'm sorry. How much is the shortfall? Maya told him the amount. It was more than he had saved, but not impossible if he picked up extra shifts. We'll figure it out, he promised her. Together. No secrets, okay? No secrets? Maya agreed. So, what's new with you? Anything exciting? Marcus thought about Claire, the heiress who rode a city bus for the first time today, who helped him fix a light and bought peonies for his elderly neighbor. Actually, there is something, he began. I met someone. The next day, dark clouds hung over the city. Marcus checked the weather app on his phone. A storm was coming. At the cafe, Claire arrived wearing a bright yellow raincoat. The weather app says we might get thunderstorms, she said as she sat down. Marcus smiled. Great minds. I was just checking the same thing. They ordered coffee and pastries. Claire took a bite of her croissant and closed her eyes with pleasure. So good, she murmured. Marcus watched her, thinking how different she seemed from the polished heiress in the news photos. Here, in a raincoat with crumbs on her lip, she was just Claire. I have an idea, he said, if you're free for the afternoon. Claire wiped her mouth. What kind of idea? With the storm coming, we should check on Mr. Alvarez and some of the other neighbors. Make sure everyone has flashlights, candles, that sort of thing. In case the power goes out, Claire nodded. I'd like to help. They stopped at a small grocery store to buy batteries and candles. Claire insisted on paying. It's not a rescue, she argued when Marcus started to object. It's for your neighbors, not for you. Marcus couldn't argue with that logic. At his apartment building, they first visited Mr. Alvarez. The old man was delighted with the peonies Claire had brought the day before. They sat in pride of place on his coffee table. Beautiful flowers from a beautiful lady, he said, making Claire blush. Marcus checked Mr. Alvarez's flashlights and smoke detector batteries while Claire chatted with him. How long have you lived here? She asked. 32 years, Mr. Alvarez said proudly. My Rosa and I moved in when we were first married. She's been gone 5 years now, but I still feel her here. Claire's eyes softened. You must miss her. Mr. Alvarez nodded. Every day. But love doesn't end, even when someone is gone. He looked at Marcus. When you find the real thing, you hold on to it with both hands. Back in Marcus's apartment, they assembled emergency kits. Candles, matches, sandwiches, bottled water. Just in case, Marcus said as he wrapped the sandwiches in plastic. Claire looked around the apartment. You know, for someone who just moved in, you've made this place feel like a real home? Marcus followed her gaze. The plant she'd brought sat on the windowsill. Books filled the now level shelves. A throw blanket was draped over the couch. It's getting there, he agreed. First place that's really mine. Outside, thunder rumbled. Rain began to patter against the window. Storms here, Claire said, moving to look outside. As if on cue, the lights flickered and went out. Perfect timing, Marcus said with a laugh. He reached for the flashlight on the counter. Don't worry, I've got... Claire's hand found his in the sudden darkness. I'm not worried, she said softly. Marcus turned on the flashlight. Its beam illuminated Claire's face, so close to his. Her eyes shone in the dim light. For a moment, neither moved. Then another rumble of thunder broke the spell. We should check on the others, Marcus said, his voice a bit rough. Make sure everyone's okay. Claire nodded. Lead the way. They used their phone flashlights to navigate the dark hallway. Marcus knocked on doors, checking on neighbors. Claire handed out candles and offered reassurance to a young mother with a crying baby. "The power company says it should be back on soon," Marcus told her. "But call if you need anything." In the stairwell, they bumped into Devin, who was on his way up. "Dude, power's out all over the neighborhood," Devin said. "Thought I'd check on you and the old man." He noticed Claire. "Who's your friend?" "Devin, this is Claire," Marcus said. "Claire, my friend and coworker, Devin." Devin shook Claire's hand. "Nice to meet you. You Marcus's mystery girl?" Claire raised an eyebrow at Marcus, who looked embarrassed. "I'm not sure about mystery," she said with a smile. "But I am having coffee with him regularly." Devin grinned. "Good for you, man. She's way out of your league." "Devin," Marcus warned. "Just kidding," Devin laughed. "Mostly." He headed up the stairs. "I'll check on the 4th floor." Back in Marcus's apartment, they lit candles around the kitchen. The warm glow made the room feel cozy. Outside, rain lashed the windows and thunder boomed. "Hungry?" Marcus asked, opening the fridge quickly to keep the cold air in. "Should eat these sandwiches before they go bad." They sat at the kitchen table, eating by candlelight. Claire took a bite and sighed happily. "Peanut butter and jelly," she said. "I haven't had this since I was a kid." "Your chef doesn't make PB&J?" Marcus teased. Claire smiled. "No chef, just me in that big place. I usually order in or eat at events." "You never cook?" She shook her head. "I don't really know how." "I could teach you sometime," Marcus offered. "Nothing fancy, but I make a decent pasta." "I'd like that," Claire said softly. In the candlelight, with the storm raging outside, they talked about their childhoods. Marcus told her about growing up with just his mom and sister, about working after school to help with bills. "Maya was always the smart one," he said proudly. "She's going to run a company someday." Claire told him about losing her parents, about growing up under Aunt Eleanor's strict rules. Everything was about the family image, she said. What would look good? What would protect the Whitmore name? "That sounds lonely," Marcus said. Claire nodded. "It was. Is." She looked around the candlelit kitchen. "This is the most at home I've felt in years." Their eyes met across the table. Marcus felt a pull toward her, like gravity. He leaned forward slightly. Claire did the same. The space between them seemed to crackle with the same electricity as the storm outside. Marcus could see tiny flecks of gold in Claire's blue eyes, could smell the light scent of her perfume. Just as their lips were about to meet, a knock came at the door. "Marcus," Mr. Alvarez called. "My flashlight batteries died." They pulled apart, both a little breathless. "Coming, Mr. A," Marcus called. He gave Claire an apologetic smile. "Rain check?" Claire's soft laugh followed him to the door. "Rain check." The power came back on around 8 that evening. Marcus walked Claire to her car, holding an umbrella over both of them as rain continued to fall gently. "Thank you for today," Claire said, turning to face him. "For letting me be part of something real." "Thank you for helping," Marcus replied. "Everyone loved you, especially Mrs. Chen on the 2nd floor. I think she's planning to set you up with her nephew." Claire laughed. "I'll have to let her down gently." They stood close under the umbrella, neither wanting to say goodbye. A car drove by, its headlights briefly illuminating Claire's face. "I should go," she said finally. "Aunt Eleanor comes back from New York tomorrow. I need to brace myself." Marcus frowned. "Is it going to be bad?" Claire shrugged. "She worries. About me, about the family image. She's not a villain, just protective, in her way." "Do you want me to go with you?" Marcus offered. "No," Claire said quickly. That would just make it worse. I can handle Aunt Eleanor. Marcus wasn't convinced, but he nodded. Call me after? I will, Claire promised. She leaned up and kissed his cheek. Good night, Marcus. He watched her drive away, standing in the rain long after her taillights disappeared. The next morning, Marcus went to work. The Riverside apartments were busier than usual, with minor storm damage to deal with. A few fallen branches, some leaking windows, a clogged downspout. Devin worked alongside him, clearing debris from the courtyard. So? Devin said casually. Claire seems nice. Marcus nodded, dragging a branch to the pile they'd made. She is. How'd you meet her? She doesn't exactly look like she lives around here. Marcus hesitated, then decided on the truth. She got a wrong number text from me. It was meant for Maya. Claire showed up at my door with a plant. Devin whistled. Bold move. She's different, Marcus said. Not what you'd expect. Different how? Devin pressed. Marcus sighed. Her full name is Claire Whitmore. Devin dropped the branch he was holding. Whitmore? As in the Whitmores? The family that owns half the city? That's the one, Marcus confirmed. Dude. Devin stared at him. What are you doing? Those people don't mix with people like us. Not for real. Claire isn't like that, Marcus said firmly. She's just a person who wants normal things. Connection. Friendship. He paused. Maybe more. Devin shook his head. I hope you know what you're doing. Just be careful, okay? People with that kind of money, they live in a different world. Marcus thought about Claire helping with the leaky pipe, riding the bus for the first time, giving out candles during the blackout. Maybe it's time the worlds met in the middle, he said. That afternoon, Claire sat in the living room of her penthouse, facing Aunt Eleanor. The older woman looked elegant as always, her silver hair perfectly styled, her posture rigid. I've been thinking about what you told me, Aunt Eleanor said, sipping her tea. About this man, Marcus. Claire tensed. And? And I'm concerned, Claire. Not just about the tabloids, though God knows they'd have a field day. Aunt Eleanor set down her cup. What do you really know about him? His background? His intentions? I know he's kind, Claire said firmly. Hard-working. He cares about his neighbors and his sister. He fixes things when they're broken. He could be after your money, Aunt Eleanor said bluntly. Claire felt her temper rise. He doesn't care about money. In fact, he made me promise not to try to rescue him with the Whitmore fortune. Aunt Eleanor looked skeptical. Men say many things when they're trying to impress a wealthy woman. He's not like that, Claire insisted. You'd see it if you met him. Perhaps I should, Aunt Eleanor said. I could have Richard arrange a meeting. Claire shook her head. No, if you meet him, it needs to be normal. No background checks, no security, no Richard hovering. Aunt Eleanor frowned. That's not prudent, Claire. It's the only way, Claire said firmly. I'm 27 years old. I've lived my entire life according to what's prudent for the Whitmore name. Just once, I'd like to follow my heart without a security detail. The two women stared at each other, neither willing to back down. Finally, Aunt Eleanor sighed. You have your mother's stubborn streak. She was just as determined when she set her mind to something. Claire felt a pang. Her mother was rarely discussed in this house. Fine, Aunt Eleanor continued. I will meet this man on your terms. But promise me you'll be careful, Claire. The world isn't always kind to people like us. Like us? Claire repeated. You mean rich people? I mean people who have something others want, Aunt Eleanor said softly. Your grandfather learned that lesson the hard way. I'm just trying to protect you from the same pain. Claire hadn't expected this vulnerability from her usually stoic aunt. "I'll be careful," she promised. "But I need to live my life, not hide from it." Aunt Eleanor nodded, a sad smile on her face. "You sound just like her. Your mother would be proud." Later that evening, Claire called Marcus. "How'd it go with your aunt?" he asked as soon as he answered. "Better than expected," Claire said, curling up on her sofa. "She wants to meet you." "Oh," Marcus sounded surprised. "That's good?" Claire laughed. "I think so. She's protective, but she's trying." "When does this meeting happen?" "That's up to you," Claire said. "No pressure." There was a pause. "How about Friday? Devon's having a little backyard cookout. Nothing fancy. You could both come?" "A cookout?" Claire hadn't been to one since she was a child. "That sounds perfect." After they hung up, Claire realized she was smiling. She'd been doing that a lot lately. Friday afternoon arrived warm and clear. Claire picked up Aunt Eleanor in her sedan. "Why aren't we taking the town car?" Aunt Eleanor asked, looking uncomfortable in the passenger seat. "Because normal people don't show up to backyard cookouts in town cars with drivers," Claire explained patiently. She'd convinced Aunt Eleanor to wear slacks and a simple blouse instead of her usual formal attire. Claire herself wore jeans and a pretty blue top that brought out her eyes. "You look nice," Aunt Eleanor commented. "He must be special." Claire felt her cheeks warm. "He is." They stopped to pick up a dessert from a local bakery. Claire chose a simple apple pie, remembering Marcus's preference from the diner. As they drove to Devon's house, Claire gave her aunt a pep talk. "Just be yourself. The real you, not the Whitmore Foundation chairwoman." "I'm not sure I know the difference anymore," Aunt Eleanor admitted. Claire reached over and squeezed her hand. "I do." Devon's house was small but well kept, with a neat front yard and flowers along the walkway. Music and laughter drifted from the backyard. Claire led the way through the side gate. The backyard was strung with simple white lights. A grill smoked in one corner, tended by Devon. A handful of people stood chatting in small groups, plastic cups in hand. Marcus spotted them immediately and came over, smiling. He wore jeans and a blue button-down shirt that made his warm brown eyes seem even warmer. "You made it," he said, then looked at Aunt Eleanor. "You must be Miss Whitmore. I'm Marcus Reed." He extended his hand. Aunt Eleanor hesitated only a moment before shaking it. "Eleanor Whitmore. Claire speaks highly of you, Mr. Reed." "Just Marcus, please," he said. "Can I get you both something to drink? We have lemonade, iced tea, beer." "Lemonade would be lovely," Aunt Eleanor said, her tone softening slightly. As Marcus went to get their drinks, Aunt Eleanor murmured to Claire, "He seems presentable." Claire rolled her eyes. "High praise coming from you." Marcus returned with drinks and introduced them to Devon, who seemed starstruck meeting the Whitmores but recovered quickly. Soon, a young woman approached them. "Maya," Marcus called, putting his arm around the girl. "This is my sister I told you about. Maya, this is Claire and her aunt, Ms. Whitmore." Maya looked to be about 17, with the same warm eyes as her brother and a bright, curious face. She shook their hands with confidence. "Marcus has told me so much about you," Maya said to Claire. "He said you helped fix a pipe in his apartment." Claire laughed. "I mostly just held the flashlight." "Still," Maya said, "most people wouldn't stick around for a plumbing emergency. You must really like my brother." "Maya," Marcus warned, but he was smiling. The evening flowed easily after that. They ate burgers and corn on the cob, sitting at picnic tables in the yard. Claire watched as Aunt Eleanor gradually relaxed, even laughing at one of Devon's jokes. As the sky darkened, Devin turned on the string lights and put on music. A few couples started dancing on the small patio. Maya sat down next to Claire with a college brochure in hand. Marcus said you went to Eastridge University. I'm thinking about applying to their business program. It's an excellent school, Claire said. Tough to get into, but they have amazing resources. That's what I've heard, Maya sighed. The problem is affording it, even with scholarships. Claire thought for a moment. You know, the Whitmore Foundation sponsors several scholarships there. I could put you in touch with the admissions counselor I know. Not for special treatment, she added quickly, seeing Marcus approaching. Just for information about financial aid options. Maya's face lit up. That would be amazing, thank you. Marcus joined them, catching the end of the conversation. What would be amazing? Claire's going to help me get information about scholarships at Eastridge, Maya explained. Marcus looked at Claire with a mixture of gratitude and something deeper, something that made her heart beat faster. Want to dance? He asked, holding out his hand. Claire took it without hesitation. He led her to the patio, where other couples swayed to the music. His arms went around her waist, and hers circled his neck. Your sister is wonderful, Claire said as they moved to the slow song. You've done a great job with her. She's done most of it herself, Marcus said proudly. She works harder than anyone I know. They danced in comfortable silence for a while, bodies close, moving in rhythm. Claire laid her head against his chest, hearing his steady heartbeat. Look at that, Marcus murmured in her ear. Claire turned to see Aunt Eleanor talking animatedly with Mr. Alvarez, who Devin had invited at Marcus's suggestion. I think they're discussing gardening, Marcus said with a smile. Mr. A was a landscape architect before he retired. Claire felt a wave of gratitude. You invited him for her? Marcus shrugged. I thought they might have things in common. Thank you, Claire whispered, tightening her arms around him. As the song ended, Devin called everyone over for dessert. They gathered around the picnic tables where Claire's apple pie was being served. This is delicious, Mr. Alvarez said, taking a bite. Did you make this, Claire? Oh no, Claire laughed. I can't cook to save my life. It's from Bailey's Bakery. I'm going to teach her, Marcus said, his arm around her shoulders. Starting with pasta. Good luck, Maya teased. I've seen your pasta, bro. Sticky doesn't begin to describe it. Everyone laughed, and Claire felt a warmth that had nothing to do with the summer night. This was what family felt like. Teasing, laughter, belonging. A camera flash caught her by surprise. Devin lowered his phone, grinning. For the memories, he said, under the string lights, with Marcus's arm around her and new friends around the table. Claire couldn't remember ever feeling so happy. The next morning, Claire woke to her phone buzzing repeatedly. Text after text from friends, acquaintances, even Richard, Aunt Eleanor's assistant. Have you seen it? They all asked in different ways. Claire sat up in bed, confused. Seen what? Then a text from Marcus came through. Check social media. Don't panic. Heart racing, Claire opened her social media app. She didn't have to search long. A photo of her and Maya from Devin's cookout was spreading rapidly, accompanied by nasty speculation. Whitmore Heiress pays off boyfriend's family. The image showed Claire handing Maya the college brochure, but the angle made it look like she was giving her money. The caption suggested Claire was buying her boyfriend's approval by paying his sister's expenses. Claire felt sick. She called Marcus immediately. I've seen it, he said before she could speak. It's garbage. Who would do this? Claire asked, her voice shaking. Someone at the cookout, I guess. Marcus sounded angry. Devin swears it wasn't him or any of his close friends. I'm so sorry, Claire said. This is exactly what Aunt Eleanor was afraid of. It's not your fault, Marcus said firmly. We know the truth. That's what matters. Claire wanted to believe him, but she knew how these things worked. The Whitmore name attracted attention, and scandal sold better than truth. Maya must be mortified, Claire realized aloud. She's tough, Marcus assured her. But yeah, she's not happy. Claire's phone beeped with another call. Aunt Eleanor. I need to take this, she told Marcus. It's my aunt. Call me after, Marcus said. We'll figure this out. Claire switched calls. Aunt Eleanor, I've seen it. It's not what it looks like. I know that, Aunt Eleanor said, surprising Claire. But this is exactly why I warned you about privacy. The vultures are circling. What do we do? Nothing, Aunt Eleanor said firmly. We do not dignify this with a response. It will blow over. But what about Marcus and Maya? Their reputations? If he cares for you, he'll weather this, Aunt Eleanor said. As for the girl, I was impressed with her. Bright, ambitious. The foundation can certainly help with legitimate scholarship information, as you offered. Claire felt relieved that her aunt wasn't blaming Marcus. Thank you for understanding. I'm not entirely heartless, Claire, Aunt Eleanor said, dryly. I saw how he looks at you, and more importantly, how you look at him. Just be careful. After they hung up, Claire texted Marcus. Aunt Eleanor's on our side, surprisingly. His reply came quickly. Good. Want to meet somewhere to talk? The park? Claire agreed, and an hour later, they sat on a bench in the small park near Marcus's apartment. Maya's upset, Marcus admitted. Not at you, at whoever posted that garbage. She worked so hard for her scholarships. The idea that someone would think she'd take handouts. I'm so sorry, Claire said again. This is my world spilling over into yours. The exact opposite of what I wanted. Marcus took her hand. Hey, we knew it wouldn't be easy, but I'm not scared off by some stupid rumor. Claire squeezed his hand gratefully. What do we do now? We keep going, Marcus said simply. We know the truth. The people who matter know the truth. Claire wasn't so sure. The Whitmore name comes with scrutiny. There will be more of this. Then we'll handle more of this, Marcus said firmly. Together. Together. The word warmed Claire's heart despite everything. There's something else, Marcus said, his expression turning serious. Your aunt came to see me yesterday, before the cookout. You were right. She is protective. Claire felt a chill. What did she want? Marcus hesitated. She offered me money to end things with you. She what? Claire felt the blood drain from her face. She said it was for your sake, Marcus continued, to protect you from scandal. I told her no, of course, didn't even consider it. Claire felt her world tilting. After all their talk, after seeing them together at the cookout, Aunt Eleanor had still tried to buy Marcus off? I need to go, she said, standing abruptly. Claire, wait. Marcus stood too. Don't be angry with her. She thought she was protecting you. By trying to buy you? Claire couldn't keep the hurt from her voice. Did she really think you were the kind of man who would take money to walk away? People do desperate things to protect the ones they love, Marcus said gently. She loves you, in her way. Claire shook her head. I need time to think. She started to walk away, then turned back. You should have told me right away. You're right, Marcus admitted. I'm sorry. I wanted last night to be perfect for you. Claire's anger softened slightly. Message me later? She asked. Marcus nodded. I will. Claire walked to her car, emotions swirling. She felt betrayed by Aunt Eleanor, but also by Marcus for keeping this from her, even for a day. Trust had always been hard for her, growing up in a world where people often wanted something from the Whitmore name. As she drove home, her phone pinged with a text from Maya. My brother would work 3 jobs before taking a dollar he didn't earn. Claire felt tears spring to her eyes. Of course he would. That was exactly the kind of man Marcus was. The kind of man worth fighting for. That evening, Claire confronted Aunt Eleanor in her penthouse. "You offered Marcus money," she said without preamble, "to leave me." Aunt Eleanor didn't deny it. "I was testing him." "Testing him?" Claire repeated incredulously. "Yes," Aunt Eleanor said calmly. "And he passed. He didn't take a penny, didn't even consider it. He told me in no uncertain terms that his feelings for you weren't for sale." Claire stared at her aunt. "That was cruel, to both of us." "It was necessary," Aunt Eleanor insisted. "Claire, you have to understand. I've seen fortune hunters destroy people I love. Your grandfather trusted too easily, gave his heart to a woman who only wanted his money. It nearly ruined him." "Marcus isn't like that," Claire said firmly. "I know that now," Aunt Eleanor admitted. "I wouldn't have gone to the cookout otherwise." She sighed deeply. "I've spent 15 years trying to protect you from making the same mistakes that hurt our family. Maybe I've been so focused on preventing pain that I've kept you from finding joy." Claire felt her anger dissolve at her aunt's vulnerability. "I understand why you did it," she said softly. "But I need to make my own choices, even my own mistakes." Aunt Eleanor nodded. "You're right, and for what it's worth, I don't think Marcus Reed would be a mistake. He looks at you the way a man should look at a woman he truly cares for." Claire reached for her keys. "I need to see him." "Now? It's getting late." "Now," Claire said firmly. "I need to fix this." "Do you want Richard to drive you?" Claire shook her head. "No, just me." Night had fallen by the time Claire parked outside Marcus's building. She took a deep breath before getting out of the car. The building was quiet. Claire climbed the 3 flights of stairs to Marcus's door and knocked softly. After a moment, the door opened. Marcus stood there, surprise on his face. "Claire," he said, "I didn't expect you tonight." "I'm sorry I walked away earlier," she said. "I needed to talk to my aunt." Marcus nodded. "I understand. Did you?" "Yes." Claire took a deep breath. She admitted what she did. "Testing you." "And did I pass?" Marcus asked with a small smile. "With flying colors," Claire confirmed. "Marcus, I need you to know something. I don't want your world, just you. I don't care about this apartment or your job or any of that. I care about the man who fixes things when they're broken, who looks out for his neighbors, who put his sister through college." Marcus's eyes softened. He opened the door wider. "Come in," he said. "Let's start from the truth." Claire stepped inside, feeling like she was coming home. Claire followed Marcus into his apartment. The peace lily she'd brought that first night had grown new leaves, thriving on the windowsill. The sight of it made her smile. "Tea?" Marcus asked, heading toward the kitchen. "Please." They sat at his small kitchen table, mugs of tea steaming between them. For a moment, neither spoke, just looking at each other in the soft light. "I should have told you about your aunt's offer right away," Marcus said finally. "I'm sorry." "And I should have trusted you more," Claire replied. "I know you wouldn't take money to walk away. I was just hurt, confused." "It's been a crazy day," Marcus acknowledged. The revelation about your aunt, it's a lot." Claire took a sip of her tea, organizing her thoughts. "Maya texted me. She was defending you." Marcus smiled. "That sounds like her. She said you'd worked 3 jobs before taking money you didn't earn." "She's right," Marcus said simply. "I've never wanted handouts, Claire, just fair chances. That's all any of us want. Claire reached across the table and took his hand. I know, and that's all I want to give Maya. A fair chance at that scholarship information. Nothing more. I appreciate that, Marcus said, squeezing her hand. Maya's proud. Like me, I guess. But she deserves every opportunity. They talked then, really talked, about the tuition notice Marcus had found in Maya's mail, about Aunt Eleanor's fears stemming from family history, about the rumors and how to handle them. No more secrets, no more holding back. So what do we do now? Claire asked after they'd cleared the air. Now, Marcus said, his eyes steady on hers. We decide what we want, together. I want you, Claire said simply. I want this. Real conversations. Fixing things together. Being seen for who I am, not what I have. I want that too, Marcus said, his voice low. I want you, Claire. Not the Whitmore name or fortune. Just you. He leaned across the table, and this time, there was no storm. No knock at the door to interrupt them. Their lips met in a gentle kiss that deepened as Claire's hand moved to his cheek. When they finally pulled apart, both were smiling. Worth the wait, Marcus murmured. Claire nodded, feeling happier than she had in years. Definitely worth the wait. 2 weeks passed. The rumor about Claire paying off Maya faded as quickly as it had appeared, replaced by other gossip about other people. Life went on. Claire signed a lease on a modest condo a few blocks from Marcus's building. It wasn't a penthouse, just 2 bedrooms with good light and a small balcony. When Aunt Eleanor asked why she wanted to downsize, Claire explained simply, I want a home, not a showplace. Maya got an interview for the Eastridge University Scholarship Program. Marcus helped her prepare, practicing questions late into the night. You've got this, he assured his nervous sister. Just be yourself. Claire and Marcus fell into an easy routine. Coffee at the park cafe, walks around the neighborhood, simple meals together, with Claire slowly learning to cook basic dishes under Marcus's patient guidance. Not bad, he said as she stirred pasta sauce one evening. You're a natural. Claire laughed. Liar, but I appreciate the encouragement. They were building something together, day by day. Trust, understanding, love, though neither had said the word aloud yet. On a sunny Saturday, Claire and Marcus moved the last of her essential belongings into her new condo. The rest would be donated or put in storage. That's the last box, Marcus said, setting it down in the living room. What's in this one? Photo albums, Claire replied. My parents, mostly. Marcus touched her shoulder gently. Want to show me later? Claire nodded. I'd like that. Devin arrived with his truck to help transport Claire's couch. Nice place, he said, looking around the condo. Smaller than I expected for a Whitmore, though. It's perfect, Claire said firmly. Just what I need. After Devin left, Claire and Marcus sat on the couch, tired but satisfied. Hungry? Marcus asked. Claire reached for her phone. Starving. Dinner at mine? I'll order in. Perfect, Marcus agreed. As Claire texted her order, Marcus placed the peace lily, which had moved with her, on the windowsill of its new home. There, he said. Now it's official. Claire set down her phone and joined him at the window. What's official? Marcus put his arm around her waist. You're officially a neighbor now, just a regular person who lives a few blocks away. Claire leaned into him. A regular person who happens to be falling in love with you. Marcus turned to face her, his eyes bright. Is that so? Claire nodded, suddenly shy. Is that okay? Marcus pulled her close. More than okay, because this regular guy is definitely falling in love with you too. Their kiss was sweeter than the first, filled with promise and certainty. When they broke apart, Claire rested her head on his chest. "Welcome home," Marcus whispered against her hair. Maya's scholarship interview went well. So well, in fact, that the interviewer asked her to apply for the Whitmore Foundation's Special Leadership Program. "They said my community service record was impressive," Maya told Marcus and Claire over dinner at Claire's condo. "And my essay about growing up with a brother who taught me the value of hard work." Marcus beamed with pride. "That's amazing, Maya." "It's still competitive," Maya cautioned, "but they seemed really interested." "They'd be crazy not to choose you," Claire said. She had carefully stayed out of the selection process, wanting Maya to earn this on her own merits. "Even if I don't get it," Maya said, "just being interviewed was huge. It opens doors." She looked at Claire. "Thank you for telling me about the program." "You did all the hard work," Claire insisted. "Still," Maya said, "you didn't have to help, especially after that stupid rumor." Claire reached across the table and squeezed Maya's hand. "That's what family does. They help each other." The word family hung in the air, warming the room. Marcus caught Claire's eye and smiled. After Maya left, they washed dishes side by side in the small kitchen. "You called us family," Marcus said, handing Claire a plate to dry. "You are," she said simply. "You and Maya. More family to me than most of the Whitmore connections ever were." Marcus set down the dish he was washing and turned to her. "I've been thinking." "Dangerous," Claire teased. "Very," he agreed with a smile. "I've been thinking about us, about the future." Claire's heart beat faster. And I know it's only been a few weeks, but when you know, you know." Marcus took her hands in his. "I love you, Claire. Not for your name or what you have, but for who you are. The woman who shows up with plants for strangers, who isn't afraid to get her hands dirty fixing a pipe, who sees me, really sees me." "I love you too," Claire whispered, tears forming in her eyes. "For seeing me as just Claire. Not a Whitmore, not an heiress, just me." "I'm not asking for everything right now," Marcus continued. "We have time, but I want you to know that I'm in this for the long haul. Whatever comes next, I want to face it with you." Claire wrapped her arms around his neck. "I want that too, all of it, with you." Their kiss sealed the promise, unrushed and deep. They had time. They had each other. They had found home in the most unexpected way. 6 months later, Claire sat at her desk in the small office she'd created in the condo's second bedroom. Papers from the Whitmore Foundation were spread before her, but her mind was elsewhere. So much had changed. After years of being just a figurehead, she had begun taking a more active role in the foundation, focusing on educational programs like the one Maya had gotten into. The work energized her in a way charity galas never had. Marcus had been promoted to head of maintenance at Riverside Apartments, with a small raise that he immediately put toward Maya's textbooks. He still fixed things with his hands, still checked on Mr. Alvarez regularly, still brought Claire coffee exactly the way she liked it. Their relationship had grown stronger with each passing day. Claire had learned to cook 5 decent meals. Marcus had fixed everything in her condo that needed fixing. They spent more nights together than apart. The door opened, and Marcus came in, still in his work clothes. "Hey," he said, kissing the top of her head. "How was your day?" "Good," Claire said, smiling up at him. "Better now." "I ran into Maya on my way here," Marcus said, sitting on the edge of her desk. "She got an A on that big economics paper." "That's fantastic. We should celebrate this weekend." "Already planned." Marcus grinned. "Devin's doing another cookout. Mr. Alvarez is coming. Even your aunt agreed to make an appearance." Claire laughed. "Aunt Eleanor at a cookout. Will wonders never cease?" She and her aunt had reached a new understanding after everything that had happened. Aunt Eleanor had seen that Claire could make her own choices, good choices, and had loosened her protective grip. In turn, Claire had come to better appreciate her aunt's intentions, if not always her methods. "Oh, I almost forgot," Marcus said, reaching into his pocket. "I found this in my mailbox today." He handed Claire an envelope addressed to both of them. She opened it curiously. Inside was a card from Mr. Alvarez, inviting them to dinner at his apartment the following evening to celebrate his birthday. "That's sweet of him," Claire said. "We should bring something." "Already taken care of," Marcus assured her. "I ordered peonies from that shop at the farmer's market. They'll be delivered tomorrow." Claire felt a wave of love wash over her. This was the man she had chosen, thoughtful, kind, always thinking of others. "What?" Marcus asked, noticing her expression. "Nothing," Claire said, standing to kiss him properly. "Just thinking how lucky I am that I got a wrong number text from you." Marcus pulled her close. "I'm the lucky one. Who else gets a beautiful woman showing up at their door with a plant during a plumbing emergency?" "We're both lucky," Claire decided. "Against all odds, we found each other." Later that evening, they cooked dinner together in Claire's kitchen. Marcus handled the pasta while Claire made a simple salad. They moved around each other with the ease of people who had done this many times before, who knew each other's rhythms. As they sat down to eat, Claire looked around at her modest condo. It wasn't the penthouse she'd grown up in, but it felt more like home than that place ever had. With its mismatched furniture, books piled on every surface, and the peace lily flourishing in the window, it was perfect. "What are you thinking?" Marcus asked, noticing her contemplative look. "Just that I love this," Claire said. "Us, this place, the life we're building." Marcus reached across the table and took her hand. "Me too. More than I can say." His phone buzzed with a text. He glanced at it and smiled. "Maya says Mr. Alvarez is requesting chocolate cake for his birthday. Apparently, it's his favorite." "Then chocolate cake it is," Claire said. "I think I can manage that without burning down the kitchen." "I have complete faith in you," Marcus said with a grin. "And a fire extinguisher, just in case." Claire threw a napkin at him, laughing. This was what happiness felt like, teasing and cooking and planning small celebrations with people you loved. Not fancy galas or expensive gifts, but moments of real connection. After dinner, they settled on the couch. Marcus put his arm around Claire, and she nestled against his chest. Outside, the city lights twinkled against the darkening sky. "You know what I was thinking today?" Marcus said, his fingers playing with her hair. "About how we met. That wrong number text." "What about it?" Claire asked, looking up at him. "It wasn't wrong at all," Marcus said softly. "It was exactly right. The right address, the right time. Like it was meant to find you." Claire smiled, her heart full. "The right address at the right time," she agreed. "And we found each other." In the window, the peace lily Claire had brought that first night stretched toward the light, strong, and thriving, just like the love that had grown between them. Unexpected, resilient, and beautifully, perfectly real. The end.